I never meant to fall for him. It started with how he said my name, Ken, the soft rumble in his voice when he called on me during lectures. Chris wasn't just any lecturer. He had presence, a quiet confidence that filled the room. His dark button-down shirt stretched subtly over his chest, sleeves always rolled up, revealing forearms dusted with dark hair and veins that caught the light. He had that calm, assertive gaze, like he saw through people saw through me. At first, I thought it was just admiration. I liked the way he explained theories, the way his mouth curled into a smirk when students gave textbook answers. But one afternoon, something shifted. It was after class. I stayed behind under the pretense of asking about a research paper. Ken, he said, shutting his laptop, something on your mind. I nodded, nervous. I guess I just don't fully understand the connection between identity and performance in social roles. He tilted his head, leaning back in his chair. That's a big question, but maybe it's not the theory you're struggling with. His eyes locked on mine. I froze. You ever feel like you're playing a role? He asked, saying what people expect, doing what's safe. Something in his tone, it wasn't just academic. There was a flicker of something more. I swallowed. Sometimes. He got up slowly, walked around his desk until he stood right beside me. My pulse was hammering. You don't have to pretend around me, he said softly. I see more than you think. His fingers brushed mine as he handed me a book. The contact sent a jolt straight through me. I wanted to move closer, but the space between us was loaded, charged. Thanks, I murmured. Anytime. He replied, voice low. 2 weeks later. We kept finding excuses to meet. Study help, office hours. But the questions were always a cover. It wasn't about academics anymore. That Friday, I found myself at his office again. But this time, I wasn't even pretending. Chris stood when I entered, closing the door behind me. There was silence, heavy and electric. I'm not your student after this semester, I blurted out, and I'm not here for help. He took a slow step forward. Then why are you here? Ken, you know why. Air between us crackled. He closed the gap slowly. Say it, he whispered. I want you, and then his hands were in my hair, mouth claiming mine with a hunger that stole my breath. We crashed into his desk, his body against mine, heat and want erupting between us. The kiss deepened, urgent, his fingers running beneath my shirt, nails grazing skin. I moaned against his mouth as he lifted me slightly onto the edge of the desk. His lips trailed to my jaw, down my neck, biting just hard enough to leave a mark. You've been driving me crazy, he murmured, voice thick with restraint. Do you know how hard it's been to keep this professional? Then don't, I whispered, pulling him closer. That night, everything changed. We didn't make love gently, it was raw. Desperate, real. We stripped away every layer, emotional and physical, until nothing was left but two men tangled in the quiet darkness, breathing each other in like air. Weeks later, we started seeing each other in secret. Late-night drives, books exchanged with fingers brushing, his hand grazing my thigh under the table at cafes. Eventually, we couldn't keep it hidden. He waited for the term to end before we made it official. When he finally kissed me openly at a rooftop bar on a humid night, the stars seemed to lean closer. Dating him was intense. He was older, grounded yet fiercely passionate. He challenged me, saw sides of me no one ever had. And I brought out something wild in him, laughter, spontaneity, freedom. We fought, we made up, we touched like we were starving. He'd press me against the kitchen counter and kiss me like the world was ending, or pull me into bed at dawn just to feel my warmth. One night, lying in his arms, I whispered, "Did you ever think this would happen?" He smiled against my shoulder. "Not in a million years, but now. I can't imagine my life without you."